Welcome to the craziness. It's gonna be fun. Gracias por su canción, pero tiene Welcome to the Mercado of San Salvador. Hold on to your hat. It's gonna be an adventure. That's his fix-it shop. So all you need is a wheelbarrow and you got a store.
Before we head to the Mercado, I'm going to show you this little gem that I found hiding behind the shops. The Calvary Church of San Salvador is one of the oldest churches in all of El Salvador. The first construction began in 1660 by order of Fray Payo Rivera, Bishop of Guatemala, who wanted the new young city of San Salvador to have a temple dedicated for the preparation of the priesthood and for the celebration of the Semana Santa. This old building was destroyed in 1854 by a strong earthquake. The second building was made of sheets of wood and was destroyed also, but this time by a fire in 1908. The third construction started in 1932 and lasted until 1950. This time, they tried to make a building that would withstand any natural disasters that could come at it. It is magnificent.
Okay, so to complete my little series on mercados, I've shown you the Merliot Mercado, which is probably the highest end mercado you can get in El Salvador. And I've shown you Santa Tecla, which is kind of middle of the road. And now I'm going to show you San Salvador Mercado. And there's actually a big distribution center mercado that, of course, I can't go to because I'm not a merchant. But this is probably the biggest of all three mercados, and it's the main one that all the Salvadoreños go to. So I got my bags, and let's go check it out. Ooh, it's like going down in a dungeon. Okay, so definitely watch your step. Definitely watch your step because I just biffed it on the way in. And then the guy pushing the cart behind me, he just biffed it too. Made me feel a little bit better. But you know what? You don't have to be a foreigner to make a faux pas in public. But now I have something else that needs to get done in the Mercado because I broke my sandal when I fell. Good thing we're here, huh? Okay. So I've never really been to this Mercado before, so we're gonna kind of explore it together. And this Mercado isn't as structured as the other Mercados. Everything's kind of mixed together, like the food's mixed with the clothes, mixed with the tools, mixed with the shops to fix things. So, and the other cool thing about this Mercado is it's actually on multiple levels. So it's like a two-story Mercado. So yeah, let's go explore. So you see, like right here, there's perfume and cosmetics right next to a pupuseria. So this thing that's all wrapped up in the corn husk, I didn't know what it was, but it's dulce de atado, or in other words, it's molasses. Next to, okay, now this is jacote. That's jacote. It's a special fruit that's only grown down here. And then, ¿cuánto cuesta? And look, these are tiny cucumbers. Aren't they so cute? Totally bite size. ¿Cuánto cuestan por los pepinos? ¿Cuánto cuesta? Por la bolsa. Okay, y los jotas. So it's $2 for 25 jacote and $2 for that whole bag of little pepinos.
You can find all kinds of candies and party favors in the Mercado and buy them in bulk. That's one of the best parts. They even have bulk frijoles or beans, and the ones that kind of caught my attention the most were the chicharas. I've eaten them before with lemon and a little bit of chili. Riquísima.
That's a lot of garlic. Okay, so you'll find lots of cool things, and it's all good to just ask what it is and what it goes in. For example, this is actually pumpkin seed dust is what they call it, but it's ground up pumpkin seed, and they cook with it, in fact, and they'll put it in sandwiches. But this is kind of a diluted. This is a combination of pumpkin seed with some flour, and this goes on fruit primarily, but they don't cook with this one.
I found 2 dehydrated chilies and tamarindo in order to make juice.
I have never seen this before, but your eggs are so fresh, they lay them right here in the Mercado. You can't get any more fresher than that. When you buy here, you're really buying the whole chicken. For example, I thought these were tomatoes, but no, they take the inside of the chicken and they pull it out so you can see exactly what you're buying. This is the liver, and these are undeveloped eggs. And this is where the eggs were developing and they were growing. So I guess it's like the chicken's ovary and the eggs that were growing, and that's the eggs right before they came out. So that's the anatomy lesson for this Mercado.
Like all the other Mercados, there's little restaurants inside that have pupusas, prepared food, and of course my favorite, smoothies.
Right after the smoothies, we're gonna head on upstairs. 16 tortillas for just $1. And like in all of Central America, at the bathrooms, you gotta pay 25 cents to get your toilet paper and go into the bathroom. So if I could say 3 things when you're traveling around Central America to always have with you: have your phone, have at least $1 if you need to go to the bathroom somewhere, and third, I would say make sure you have a translator in your phone, regardless of where you are.
El de chipilín y el de pollo. Aquí le vamos a marcar ese que aquí le vamos a poner acá, que es de pollo.
It's curtido time.
Curtido is a Salvadoran staple. It's fermented cabbage, carrots, onions, oregano, and lemon juice. It's super healthy, and you can put it on pupusas and almost anything you want. What I love about the Mercado is there's endless amounts of fruits and vegetables, everything you can imagine. And it's typically cheaper than the supermarket. Like this, I got 14 Roma tomatoes for just $1.
So that's 5 avocados for $1. That's why I love El Salvador. Thank you. So never be afraid to learn something new. These are pumice stones, and they're like crude, normal pumice stones, and I'm like, why? Okay, I've only ever used a pumice stone on my feet, so I'm like, why in the world would you ever have a pumice stone that big? But she says, like all the pupusas that are made here, they have these big planchas, these big hot griddles, and they use the pumice stones to clean off the planchas when they're all done making pupusas. And that's why you would need a big one. $1 for la bolsa. Something you need to know. Central America, lemons and limes. In the US, a lemon is yellow, right? And a lime is green. So in the US, someone would call these limes, but they're not. These are actually lemones here. And they do have, these are like key limes. Now in the US, these are crazy expensive, but here, because they grow right here, I get all these for $1. And this big pile right here, that is loroco. And loroco is something that is eaten all over El Salvador. It's kind of like the official El Salvador vegetable. They put it in eggs, they put it in pupusas. I even saw the Pizza Hut here has loroco pizza, where they'll put it as a topping on the pizza. And these are peñuelos. No, ¿qué son? Peñuelos. These are peñuelas, and you put them in atol. And atol is a drink that they make here. I think in English, are these dates or figs? I don't know. I'm gonna have to to look it up. If one of you guys knows what this is called in English, put it in the comments, because I'm not sure. I think it might be a date, but we'll see. So $1 for 6 onions. Love the prices here. So usually when they group things, they're grouped in dollar quantities. So it's $1 for these guys or $1 for these two. And if you see little pyramids of like avocados, that means the whole little pyramid, that quantity is what you get for $1. Wow. So all these radishes are just $1. I think I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 radishes for $1. Okay. And this, again, here's to show you. These are blackberries, $1 for all of these blackberries. You know, these are probably gonna be $5 in the US. I ain't joking. Awesome deal. The lady overheard me and she decided to explain to me how it is. This is a passion fruit. This is a maracuja. This is a granadilla, which I don't know what it's called in English because it looks exactly like the same inside as a passion fruit. It's just smaller and more orange. Maybe I should do a taste test at home to show you guys, and we'll compare them. Yeah, sounds like an idea. Hands down, your fruit will always be cheaper down here in El Salvador. For example, green grapes are $3 per pound. Red grapes are $2 per pound. Mandarin, these oranges, are 4 for $1. And guayaba, you get 3 guayaba for $1. It's one of the reasons why I love living in El Salvador. Cheap produce.
The meat market section was pretty impressive, much bigger than Merliot or Santa Tecla.
So she is making sausages. She stuffs the corn husk and then she twists it up and then they're ready to cook. And remember how in the Mercado Santa Tecla, I showed you how they had a whole pig out there and you got your anatomy lesson of the pig and all the parts and how you could buy it in the Mercado? Well, guess what? Here in San Salvador, you will get that same opportunity, but with a cow. So this is jerky. How they make jerky is they clean these, for example, these are lungs, so they'll clean them, they'll hang them up and to dry, and then they salt them. And they salt them all down until and the salt pulls out and dries out all the meat, and so now it's jerkified. So now you can take it, put it in your pocket, tear off a little bit as you go throughout your day. But this in particular is lungs, not meat. That's why it's white. So I found out what happens here. You'll see the cow parts, but here in the Mercado, actually they get the head and they get the feet, and they'll get the organs from inside the cow, but they actually don't get the meat part. The T-bone, the ribs, all that kind of stuff. They don't get that stuff as much. That actually gets shipped off to the super selectos, the grocery stores. Because this Mercado because it's cheaper to just harvest the meat off of the different parts. So for example, Juan here just showed me that he takes the meat from the cheeks and he'll harvest that and then sell that as meat. And then he'll harvest some of the meat off of the legs to sell that as beef too. But he'll harvest other parts, which was interesting. He said he takes the eyes, the cow eyes, and he sells those because you put them in alcohol. He says you take alcohol and you take some marijuana leaves and you take the eyes and you puncture the eyes and then you let it sit and mix for a couple days, and then it ends up making like a salve that you can put on rheumatoid joints. And so you learn something new every day. Those are gigantes.
Se mueve.
Wow, todavía están vivos.
Tiene la pata suelta.
Uh-huh. Wow. Yeah, I learned my lesson. I tried one of those.
The dairy section was impressive. Check out these blocks of cheese. You are definitely not going to find that in a supermarket.
Something I haven't seen at any other mercado is that here you literally have anything right next to the other. Like here there's dulces, and then here there's fruit, and right across is the wood shop, where the guy will make chairs, tables, anything you want. And the prices equally, because he takes it, this isn't like polished or sanded down wood, it's kind of crude wood. So for example, this little side table stool, this is $7, and the bench is $25. But I definitely recommend sanding it down before you sit on it. If not, you could get some nice little surprises in your little cafe. How fun! Wow, cool. So he makes bird cages and just animal cages of any time, of any kind, right here. And you can customize and say how big you want it, how small you want it, and he'll put it together for you. This is only $12. Not bad. And it's customized. Okay, on this side upstairs is where you have the prepared food. And we're gonna go and try and find some lunch and see if it's cheaper than Santa Tecla or more expensive than Barrio.
When lunchtime comes, it's time to choose a restaurant. Now, this can be really hard when you've never been in a Mercado before and you don't know which places are good or not because there's so many to choose from. Each place usually has about 4 different plates that it offers, and of course, there's always tortillas. But what I use is go to the place that has a lot of people sitting at it because it typically means the food's pretty good if everybody loves it.
So in this Mercado, one of the things I love about it is up on the second floor, they have openings in the roof so that fresh air comes in and gets to like kind of rinse out all the smells and the smokes of everybody cooking and cleaning and working. And so for our lunch, here we are. And the little place we stopped at actually only offers 4 things on their menu. And this, they have a sopa de patas. Sopa de patas is super Salvadoran, and especially in San Salvador. And what it is, it technically means feet soup, but it's got all the different parts that they sell in here, the kind of other parts of the cow that they sell here in the Mercado. So you can see this is tripe or stomach, cow stomach, and then it's got other things like tendons and other parts that's not typical, typically the carne parts of the cow. Here we go. I've never had this before. Yeah. And of course, you always get tortillas with your meals. And this is also different from the other Mercado. Like everywhere you go in El Salvador, they have cortido. But then they also have chile with onions, kind of like a chile sauce. That's what this is. Kind of a little bit of their own spicy mix to put on the top. And then they have traditional onions with cilantro. Oh, and the other thing is, if you didn't know this, in every single country, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, the soda makers, they actually have different sodas in different countries. Sodas that you can't get in the US, in fact. And sodas that you can only get here. For example, and this brand is called Tropical. And this, it's still made by Coca-Cola, but you're not going to find it in the States. And they have other flavors. In fact, did you know Fresca's in the US, but it has been in Central and South America for a whole lot longer than it's actually been in the US. So little tidbits there, a little bit smarter today. So I was surprised to find out that the prices for the prepared food here is a lot higher than the other two mercados that we went to. I don't know if that's just because I'm a Gringa and he gave me the Gringa tax, or if it just really is more expensive here. But the sopa de patas is $5, and this carne asada is $3.50, and then the this is the carne frito, and this was $3.50. So let's see how they taste. You can tell they dried the meat out beforehand, and they salted the meat because it's salted all throughout, and then they just did a quick cook to cook it up nice and fast. So yeah, it's Mercado food. Not what you expect at a restaurant, but quick, fast, and ready to help you move on.
We couldn't pass up a great pupusa stand because they're cheap, they're delicious, and they're Salvadoran.
So here's an extra little lesson for when you're going to a mercado. One of the perks and drawbacks of a mercado is, one, you never know what you're gonna get when you stop at a place to eat. And so if you do stop, number one, learn from my mistakes. Ask the price before you choose to stop and buy there. Because, for example, we stopped at a place, our food was exorbitant. They even charged for the tortillas. Restaurants, carts, I don't care what you are. If you're selling food down here, you don't charge for the tortillas. It's like charging for the chips at like a Mexican restaurant. No. So they charged, all the prices were really, really high, and the food was not good. It wasn't, say, bad, but it definitely wasn't good. So that's the perk of the mercado, is that because there's so many vendors, you can just hop 2 spots down and get some food that you do like. So opted out of that one, came to a pupuseria that is hand making to order pupusas for us to eat, so we don't go home hungry after lunch. Okay, here is my example. All of these pupusas and a freshly squeezed juice, carrot orange juice, for $5 to $6, whereas the food that we had before ended up being $15 for that. Yeah, not always you get what you pay for. Before you jump into any cartillo, make sure you try at least one little piece of it, because they had an onion cartillo that was different from the cabbage cartillo, and I put that on thinking it was just normal cartillo. It's not normal cartillo. My mouth is a flaming. I'm like looking for milk right about now. Woo! Cleaning my pupusa off. Yeah, that's for sure. Hey. ¿Cuánto cuesta su...?
60.
¿Son 60 cada uno?
Sí.
¿Y se ponen cosas de arriba o no?
No.
¿Y cuánto cuesta por una gallina?
8 y 7.50 y a 7 por docena.
So it's $8 per hen, but if you buy 12 hens, then you can get them for $7 each. Este par de azul. One big drawback to the biggest mercado in all of El Salvador is I am crazy lost. I have no idea how the heck to get out of here, and we need to go downstairs, and I can't find any stairs to get to the street. And here is your Joanne store.
On the way out, I saw an awesome black dress that I honestly doubt would work for any Salvadoran because it goes all the way to my ankles.
They don't do dressing rooms here in Central America. 10 bucks. Not bad for a quick black dress when you need one. As always, remember when you shop at the Mercado, you get great deals, but wash your fruits and vegetables very, very well. Not just with water, I'd use like a little bit of vinegar to make sure that you get any pesticides or anything that's not organic off of them. But you can find great, great deals. And there's always an adventure to be had at the Mercado. I am Jen Ransett. Travel more, live more, be more. And if you would like to come down here and explore El Salvador, check out Living Like a Local. We'll see you next time.
Comedor, eso es lo ideal, rapeando pa' los bye, yo les digo bye, que hacen videos pa' los journal.
Pero qué bueno, porque ahorita empezamos con la improvisación. Bienvenidos a ustedes que vienen aquí a nuestra nación, porque sabemos que aquí siempre buen rap vamos a dar de calidad. Y ya saben, las pupusas poderlas disfrutar.
Este freestyle aquí soy el creador, quiero que venga de visita y disfrute la magia del Salvador. Eso es lo bueno, con calidad más con razón, con pupusas el chile hasta se va a poner cachetón.
Es que a veces yo también en la vida creo que me confundo, pero bienvenidos al Salvador, donde te bañas con bikini o como Dios te trajo al mundo. Pero bueno, eso siempre es celebrar a toda la gente de calidad y le damos paz.
Y así es como en este estilo se anexa, por los lentes de Chile yo creo que se vino desde Houston, Texas. Es verdad, yo no me expando, represento El Salvador, continente y hasta Texas. ¿Cuándo?
Qué bueno, porque ahorita les damos la buena atención. Pero el Chile anda tatuado como yo, cuidado con el régimen de sección. Pero yo le entiendo a mi pana, porque él sabe que en El Salvador solo se viene a gozar.
Este freestyle no es escandaloso, se tatúa en la piel porque el rey sabe que el tiempo sí es valioso. Hey, verdad que permanezca, y el rey pidió un jugo de naranja para irse con la mente fresca.
Bueno, empezamos ahorita con lo que vamos a anotar. Edición para la señorita extranjera, sabe que aquí morenita se hará. Pero bueno, por el sol, mañana el Chile que veo que él siempre corre, con la barba al estilo Chuck Norris.
Es lo que yo puedo notar por los ojos azules, quizás ella vive en un castillo debajo del mar. Hey, eso no se asociaría el verdad en la subasta, y yo espero que venda todas las canastas.
Y eso es lo importante, porque le ponemos la realidad. En este mercado hay que venir porque hay manzanas de verdad, hay tanta fruta que tú puedes comer. Bendición para la gente que sabe que siempre el rap lo va a entender.
Este freestyle rápido y sencillo, también de lejos saluda a la chica que la escucha de la deja con brío. Eso es calidad de free, para usted le representamos hip hop y que no pierda la fe.
Es de la música rapera, somos la nueva era, salvadoreña es nuestra bandera. Esto es real freestyle, llámalo como tú quieras, cultura universal que no entiende de fronteras.
Bueno, para mí.
Gracias por su canción, pero tiene una equivocación, porque yo soy más bella que gringa, porque vivía aquí.
Ya no es engaño, claro, tiene las mismas raíces de hace años. Qué bueno, con calidad, con transparencia. Qué bueno que la chelita no pierde su esencia. Eso es lo bueno, aquí con mucha escuela. Aunque se apague el beat, vamos a fluirlo a capela. Tú sabes, esto es real y espero que la pasen bien de la sopa, la puedan disfrutar.
Y te presento porque soy la gringa salvadoreña.
Ahí estamos, mucho gusto.